So you're telling me there's a chance. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll explain in just a moment. But welcome on in to the Ryan Ripken Show. How you guys doing? Happy Wednesday. Let's get over the hump of the week here this afternoon. We got a great show that's going to help you continue on down into the rest of your week and into the weekend in just a couple days. We will recap whenever this Orioles game ends. That's what I was referring to. The Orioles were down 7-0 because we're live on YouTube, X, and Facebook. So you could be watching right now or listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast later. So we will recap how this Orioles game ends against the Detroit Tigers. And then later on, we'll talk to former Orioles manager and longtime big league manager, friend of the show, friend of the program, Buck Showalter, who can talk a little bit about Chris Davis going into the Orioles Hall of Fame. Some of the stories that Chris remembers. I'm curious if Buck has the same memory. And then, Buck, you don't know what the heck he's going to end up saying on the show. So can't wait for him to join us. He'll join us at the top of the hour at 4 p.m. And then there's some big news out of Ravens camp. We will open up the show with that in just a few minutes. But how about Nnamdi Madubuike? Looks like he is not going to be unable to perform. Looks like he's ready to rock and roll. But our friend, Dr. Yoni, is going to join us at 4:30 to break down the realistic chances, even though he's on the field. What does it all mean? And then the question marks behind what does it mean to reassess Adley Rutschman and Sam Basayo as we get ready for the Orioles to come back to Baltimore? Because the catching position, it's no secret, the Orioles need help with their two main guys out. We'll mix in some things. We have a thing called Wednesday Wheel that we'll share with you all today. And I don't know. You guys know we like to have fun here. What else is on the rundown? We're having fun. We got some good kids. We'll wrap up the show. And news and notes and scene. That's all I got. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. In studio, intern Nate is behind the sticks. Intern Nate.
What's going on? How we doing? How we feeling?
How you doing?
Doing good.
Hold on, time for that. Actually, the lights are on. Mm-hmm. The mic looks good for you. We're making strides. I'm proud of you.
Day by day, bro. Day by day.
Day by day. And then behind door number 1, we have Zach Bollinger.
How's it going? It's happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Hey, happy to see you. Happy to see you. Should we open door number 2 or just keep it locked?
I think we have to. He forced his way.
I didn't open the door yet, Rock, but good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I didn't bring myself on. Someone else must have.
That was me.
Great to be here, guys. Really appreciate it. I can't tell you how entertaining it was behind the scenes before the show even started. Watching Sam just go off on the Orioles. And then just we get the notification that he's a new member.
Welcome back, Sam.
Shout out, Sam. Welcome back. That's unbelievable. But it was just, oh my God, unbelievable. So love it. Hell of a way to start the show. Yeah, good to be here.
It is good to be here. And also, by the way, with this Wednesday Wheel, do we try to explain this to start off, Rock? We want to wait a little bit longer. How do we feeling here?
We can I feel like we let it slow cook a little bit throughout the show. So why don't we kind of tell everyone what we're going to do with it? Because in the past, it's been for, we've had guests on, we've added certain workouts that we haven't done yet because we're all pieces of crap. But what the Wednesday Wheel is going to be is we're going to take submissions from this chat. So think of realistic challenges or things you want to see us do on the show. And we're going to do them. Now I'm not cold plunging in the Inner Harbor. Maybe I will, but I don't know. Get creative, think of some things. We're going to spin it, see what kind of lands on and see what challenge they have to do. We're going to make it fun and entertaining for you guys because that's what we're here to do. Have fun at the end of the day. So, definitely toss those submissions in the chat and we'll kind of add them to the wheel as we go. Let's have a time.
And maybe I'm afraid with our members, if we give them all the power, however, we do want to add some to the wheel. I think we keep Joe Thomas's words from earlier. That. He wants to do the plank. That was one of his things. He also had ice plunge, which we could do, cold plunge. Could have those. I also think we have Buck Showalter add to the list today. I think we should too.
That's why I think it shouldn't just be workout related, because Buck could probably get creative. Like, do we have to run foul poles? Do we have to like figure out life? Like, what's the deal? And
well, that's really broad, Rocco. We can't even figure that one out. Zach, what kind of we go from we don't want to do workouts, let's run polls. That's a workout. To two, why don't we just figure out life? Let's
just figure out life.
Hell yeah, Rock. Let's figure out life.
One thing I don't know if I'll ever do again is a one chip challenge. I see that in the chat. And that was one of the worst moments of my life. That's top 5. Zach.
Wasn't that bad.
Well, no, the best is you telling me it's not that bad. And it was, in fact, that bad. And it was terrible. So
it's
time out.
Just a few minutes of.
No, Zach, that was 30 minutes in hell. 30 minutes that I want back and 30 minutes that I'll never get back doing that. And
so for those that aren't aware of this, let's give a little context because we are new. It's only like episode 270 that we've done, Zach. So to give more context in our earlier days, intern Nate, do you have any idea what's going on?
No idea at all.
So a lot of our listeners probably don't either. The OGs of the show do. But earlier on in the show, Nate.
Yeah.
We got to a certain threshold for subscribers, and it was a lower number at the time. And Rock and Zach were like, let's do the one chip challenge. And then, like, we should all do it. And you know what I said? I said, hell no, I ain't doing that shit. So those two were like, oh, it's going to be great. Rocco bought a gallon of milk, a full loaf of bread.
Correct.
And both Zach and Rocco sat down, ate the chips, and we're miserable for the duration of the day. And I mean absolutely miserable.
Well, we looked, Rip, I'm just going to say, like, we looked very happy beforehand. Like, Zach and I, it was just like, two guys about to have a good time doing the one chip challenge. We got the gloves. We got the chip. Happy as can be. Picture number 2 tells the whole story of how our day went.
Is it
as
real?
You can see, I didn't take the one chip challenge well. And that is a swollen face with the milk, with the bread, and just one of the worst moments of my life and something that I never want to do again. But if I have to and take one for the team, you know what? Who the hell am I to say no? I'll do it again.
We'll find out. We certainly will. And maybe that'll be the beauty of this. It's not just an athletic feat we're going to put on this wheel. It will be other situations. Now, we will figure out how to sort that through later on. But oh, sugar, the phrase that Jim Tomey likes to use from Charlie Emanuel, know thyself. I think that's great wording. And for me, know thyself, I ain't doing that shit. That one I already agreed. It's already written in the Ryan Ripken Show contract. You don't like it, play better.
That's the Zach going, Ripken made us do this. And he's like dying. I'm like, he's got the chip dust in the back of his throat.
You just
clearly in pain.
You were like, I can't believe Ryan made us do this. And then, I was like, no, I didn't.
And then the second best part was the Orioles got Corbin Burns because it was the day after they signed him or traded for him. So just that was an all-timer for sure.
Anyway, we're not doing the one chip challenge today because we got to get on with the rest of our show.
Sure.
But that was a good time, some good kids, and we appreciate all you guys. And Zach.
We appreciate CQ.
And our friends at CQ want to give a friendly reminder that the CQMD Foundation Golf Classic is Maryland's premier charity golf event, and it's happening this fall, September 28th at Turf Valley Golf Club, and registrations are now open. Yours truly and maybe a few other members of the Ryan Ripken Show will be there. Brad and I, we won this event last year. Hey, how you doing? Shout out to Tony. And we're looking forward to defending our crowd, but more importantly, we're there for helping support scholarships throughout Maryland. That is the ultimate goal. But with the golf tournament, you're going to get 18 holes of golf. Or if you don't want to play golf and be a part of it, you can get a 2-hour small group lesson at one of the area's most beautiful golf courses. So, Rocco, that could be for you to work on your game. Breakfast, lunch, and a cocktail reception with drinks is included, including also gifts and raffles along the way, which then can include some putting, longest drive, and hole-in-one contests on top of it. So, really, if you're a golf fan, this is something that you will love. And again, it's all for supporting Maryland and giving scholarships throughout the state. And if you would like to join and be a part of it, register today at cqmdfoundation.org/golf-classic for more. And CQ, proud sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show. Well, guys, feel good. That's going to be in the fall. We love the fall. Also in the fall means football season, but actually football season, as we discussed, is really underway now with training camps opening up. And the Ravens had veterans report yesterday. We had that whole conversation. It was, awesome. But guys, actually the most seismic detail came today. And it came in the form of number 92 on the Baltimore Ravens, Nnamdi Madubuike, running out. And guys, it sure does look that we're going to have a chance to see the All-Pro return because he has been taken off the physically unable to perform list, the PUP, and he has been cleared and passed his physical. So, hey, first off, welcome back, Nnamdi Madubuike, baby. Amazing. Truly amazing. And look, we'll talk to Yoni about this later on of the hurdles here. But that to me, hurdle number one, being cleared enough to get back on the field. And for me, guys, like that is the number one storyline for now and today and how this defense can look. And I didn't see a wild Kevin Ostreicher move in there. Kevin, I'm surprised you weren't live for the moment, but Beeks is back. And ultimately, man, I'm just so happy because the journey to get back was such a challenging one and a very uncertain one.
Yeah, definitely. And I snuck a live in there. I snuck a live in there, but I do think that it's huge because, like, honestly, over the course of the last, really since he got out in week 2, I wasn't sure we were going to get to this moment. I wasn't sure we were going to have, a reaction about Nnamdi getting back on the field. Neck injuries are super serious, just from a human element and a life perspective. And, the fact that he was working out all off season, the breadcrumbs were kind of pointing us in a positive direction. And now he's here. I mean, it's a huge deal. There are still obviously question marks about now it's timeline wise, the ramp up process through practice. Is he able to come back in week 1? What does that look like? How many snaps is he playing? But look, the most important thing here is clearly, doctors feel confident in Nnamdi coming back. Nnamdi feels confident in Nnamdi coming back. And I mean, he's such a boost to the defense that severely missed him. I mean, he was the Ravens sack leader with 2 sacks for like half the season. It was atrocious. And so I feel like they would have been okay if he couldn't come back out there because I think the depth is still good on the D-line. But him coming back changes everything because now defenses have to account for him. You got to throw double teams at him. He wins single coverage so quickly. It's one of his best traits, and it's going to open up other opportunities. And now you have Trey Hendrickson on that D-line as well, alongside, Travis Jones, Calais Campbell, Mike Green in a year or two. You're going to have to give up one-on-one opportunities somewhere. You can't double team all these guys unless you're having 10-man protection. So, I mean, I feel like it raises the floor and the ceiling of this defense by so much.
As some would say, the ceiling is the roof.
Facts.
Yeah, right. Can you name that quote, Nate?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
The roof is
the
on
ceiling
fire.
Is the roof. But in all seriousness, the ceiling of this defense rises even more. And the ceiling was already sky high given the players that they had, given the coaching staff that was coming to be put into place, and what the potential could be for them to get back to being what the Ravens have been known for over the last really 2.5, not full 3 decades. Because if we go back to the first few years with the Ravens here, that defense was not the Ravens defense that we've come to know and love in Baltimore. But that has been what this team has been known for. Hard-nosed, physical, and just a dangerous unit on the defensive side. So it's almost Beeks being back would do that. We will pump the brakes on all the other stuff, but to Kevin's point, it is evident of what it will look like there if he's back. And we'll get to a couple of the fun things in a second of this I mean, obviously, Lamar's back. You know, he seems to love Declan Doyle. He said Declan's a wizard. That was the newest quote. I love hearing all these buzzwords, guys. Like, it's fantastic to hear. I also love seeing the life, the excitement. And I know this video is joking, Zach, like it's a fun thing, but the energy around the Ravens right now, you can feel this new life. And maybe it starts with a PA announcer. Do you have that video, Zach? Could we elaborate, or could you elaborate a little bit more on this?
I think we just have the video speak for itself. So let's watch it.
Now arriving, the two-time Pro Bowler, fastest player in Ravens history to reach 100 career receptions, hailing from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, out of Boston College, wide receiver number 4, Zay Flowers.
You got a good voice.
The best safety in the league, two-time first-team All-Pro, the chess piece himself, number 14, Kyle Hamilton.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
By way of Virginia Tech and Duke University, number 90, won the Heisman at the University of Louisville.
It is crazy. Oh, funny.
First round of the 2018 draft. Certified best on-field drip of any defensive back in the NFL. Number 2, cornerback, Nate Wiggins. It's number 21, safety, Jalen Hawkins.
Yeah. I like this. This is dope.
Number 39, Keandre Jackson.
So shout out.
Orioles just tied the baseball game.
We'll get to that in a second here. Heel cinnamon. Heel
Oh,
cinnamon, everybody.
sorry. But
Death
JP,
taxes, and Rocco gets a little horned up with some news.
oh, that I mean, listen, it's like, yeah, it's a good time to be horned up when that's happening. Like, it's just knock the fork over. Maybe I am, but when they're down, when Sam's going off on a rant, deserved every minute of it. Sam, just keep it up. Keep
Yeah,
talking
Sam.
shit in a good way, because
Sam, say they won't take a lead.
Sam,
they won't
Sam,
take the
say
lead.
Sam, say that they're just going to blow the lead again. So, but yeah, JP Stevenson, he did an unbelievable job, and it's if you're a player walking into camp and getting to listen to that, you know, usually the guys, they'll walk in, they'll get filmed. It's just like they'll do, you know, fun challenges. But first and foremost, shout out to the Ravens social media team for doing that and putting that together. They're one of the best social media teams across all sports, not just in the NFL. But for the players walking in and getting that extra bit of hype right there, that's got to feel pretty good. So, and it's a good way to, you know, you basically take the PA announcer, meet the players, and kind of put the two together. The guy that is going to be calling the games over the loudspeaker, and you put a face to a name. I thought that was awesome.
It was one of those cool parts. And JP Stevenson, again, new PA announcer for the Ravens. That's a welcome to. And you could see Zay Flowers, a lot of energy coming into camp. Very charismatic guy. And he's right. JP's got a good voice. And that's the voice you hope to hear over and over again in an exciting way in Baltimore. But Zach, that's what I was talking about, the excitement level with Zay and other players. But then I saw Jesse Minter, new head coach. He's running down there. And it might look like, you know, it's all feel good. We haven't played a game yet, haven't really even practiced. But there is this renowned, I don't know, feel. And maybe just because it was such a brutal ending that we hadn't seen as much in Baltimore the way that it was last year, that there is this breath of fresh air that has been breathed into this unit and franchise. And honestly, dude, I'm just excited to see this whole thing kind of unravel in front of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to feel like there's a breath of fresh air, and it's nothing to do with really anything against John Harbaugh. It could be anybody. After 18 years of the same regime, when you change something, when something goes differently, when now there's a new voice, there's just always going to be that extra energy, that extra bit of, oh, okay, hey, let's get this going. It just feels like it's exactly what the Ravens needed. Am I going to sit there and go like, oh, this is the best thing ever? We'll find out. Who knows? Maybe 3 years from now, we're sitting here going, wow, that experiment was bad. Wow, did that go poorly? Or we're sitting here going, that was the greatest decision the franchise has ever made. We don't know, but what you can tell by the way guys are talking and all that, it's different. And that could be good, that could be bad, but it's different, and that's kind of what the Ravens needed.
Certainly was. And with every team, though, you have then the storylines of this camp. In this case, it's going to be the coaching staff. That's a big one. The health of Nnamdi Madubuike, that's another one. And then, of course, who's going to be some breakout candidates here, guys, as we approach the end of camp? Who's been playing well? And then who are you hoping to see break out? So, Kev, I'll let you sit on this for a second because we went over earlier on some breakout players for camp. So, Zach, why don't you kick it off for us then, since we're on this and the excitement? Breakout player for camp you were looking at is who?
I took the low-hanging fruit, and it's mostly because of what his skill set was brought into, and just the guy is a walking social media clip. I picked Jacoby Lane. I think he is going to produce, whether or not it ends up mattering in the regular season, we'll see. But he just feels like a guy where the cameras are always going to be on him. He's going to make some sort, Rock and I joked yesterday, like, we're going to get the slow-mo Jacoby Lane back of the end zone, fade ball, highlight reel. Like that's going to happen. It's coming. He gives off those vibes of somebody in camp that's going to make a few big plays. He's going to get all the hype. He's going to have a great preseason. He just has that energy. It's infectious. Like I said, social media team can't get enough of him. If I had to, it's low-hanging fruit, but I love the rookie in this sense.
I do too. And Rock, I think you have another rookie in mind that you're looking to see potentially break out and ultimately not even for this year, let's say for future years, behind a certain king.
Yeah, and that's Adam Randall, and hopefully his football game is better than the golf game. I joke and say that because when we had him on, talked about breaking the golf club, but we know that is the case. This is looking at Adam Randall, his size, his stature, his work ethic is a big reason that Steve Bisciotti wanted to pick him and hand select this player out of Clemson. Adam Randall is a player that didn't have any rushing attempts the first 2 years at Clemson. And why is that? Because he played wide receiver. After making the transition to running back, he really came onto the scene. And last season, 10 rushing touchdowns, 3 receiving touchdowns. He's really a do-it-all guy out of the backfield. And to be able to learn in a backfield that features Derrick Henry, I think the sky could be the limit for Adam Randall over the course of his career. Obviously, he's not going to get the touches that Derrick Henry does. Derrick Henry is one of one. But being able to learn, I think we're going to look at Adam Randall years from now, and hopefully I'm not on freezing cold takes, and we're going to say the fact that he got to learn behind Derrick Henry in a backfield with him is so beneficial to his career, and that's why it took off the way it did going forward. I have really high hopes for Adam Randall, not just this season, but or this training camp, but seasons to come in the Ravens.
I mean, this is a great opportunity. Like for all these guys, right? We don't know who's going to step up for the rookies, but somebody has an opportunity to step in. Last year, one of the rookies that made an impact on the defensive side, he's trying to work his way back. Teddy Buchanan was one of those guys. On the offensive side for the Ravens, there are opportunities that are available, specifically in the wide receiver room. And then also Derrick Henry's a cyborg. He's not human, but he's not the youngest back. I'm never betting against Derrick Henry, but if Adam Randall can take that jump, sugar, you got to be happy. And obviously Adam Randall is a guy you want to root for. Really excited to see him. Kev, did I give you enough time to sit there, maybe stand up straight in your chair and go, this player is Kevin Ostreicher's breakout player to watch?
Yeah, you did. And it's all rookies. I got a rookie too. My rookie is Josh Cuevas, the tight end. You know, there's a lot of opportunity, I think, in that tight end room with Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kohler now in different places. And the Ravens didn't really replace them with any other vet outside of Durham Smythe, who I think is going to be more of a situational player. But Cuevas is somebody that I think can be used in a lot of different ways. And, you know, fullback isn't a thing in Baltimore anymore with the new system and Patrick Ricard leaving. But, you know, being able to play Cuevas maybe in line, maybe in the backfield on certain plays, got a lot of great reviews coming out of the spring workouts. And, you know, I think they really like both of the, I mean, they have to because they didn't bring in another vet there. They're putting a lot of trust in these rookies behind Mark Andrews. So I think that signals a level of confidence with those guys. Plus, he's a Ryan Ripken Show legend, so I gotta, you know, give him a shout out too, alongside Adam Randall, right? So that's obviously bonus points there too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we had a few of them. We have Eckley, we have Randall, Cuevas, Hibner,
who was almost mine apparently.
Zach Bollinger,
athlete.
Apparently.
Ask our guest last week.
Well, people think so. We all know the truth, though.
What can I say?
No.
Hey, I like all the choices, and again, there's a really exciting rookie class, and you need somebody to step up, and there are opportunities. Said it on offense. Guys, I'm going to go against the grain here. And it's not that he hasn't broken out in the past. Actually, he had been a star, and he broke out pretty quickly from his rookie year. But there was some questions of if this was kind of the downslide of him because, you know, you're getting older, systems change, you dealt with injuries. Are you as effective are you as efficient? And then I was looking at this guy talking to the media the other day, and I'm going, damn, he looks in good shape. And damn, you know what? He is going to be dependent upon just as much as he was in his earlier years. And guys, I'm looking for the re-breakout of Mark Andrews. Like, that's one for me that I'm super excited because there was moments last year or the last 2 years where you sat there and went, all right, is Marky Mark, is this kind of it? Likely's going to take over and that's going to be the move. And then we know what happens, right? Mark gets extended. Isaiah then in the offseason gets paid and goes to the Giants to stay with Harbs. But I'm sitting here and I'm watching that play that when we had Todd Monken, the Hurricane, and Mark Andrews, that was the fastest he had ever run in his career on that play. And then I go back to the Lions game then the year prior where things were tough for the Ravens. Or sorry, it was last year even. I'm losing my mind. It was last year. And Mark dominated in that game. And so when I look at it, I go, is Mark going to be the top 5 tight end in football moving forward? I'm not going to put that pressure on him. But I don't think that Mark has fallen off this cliff that everyone thinks. So that's going to be my re-breakout. Because let's just face it, Mark Andrews, if he's healthy and the tight ends are going to take their time to get comfortable, guess who's going to get a lot of the reps? It's going to be Marky Mark. And he looks healthy. He looks ready to go. And above all, Lamar Jackson trusts him. So let's see a re-breakout here from Marky Mark to reestablish himself as one of the best tight ends in football. So, I mean, this is the fun thing about this part of the year, baby. And we'll have a lot more to talk about with football as we move forward. And at least in this case, guys, first day of practice went better than it did in Cincy, where I don't know if you guys saw it. And maybe you can say you love having the competitive fight. And that's great and all, but hands were being thrown early, helmets being flown off.
Hell yeah.
Jamar Chase and what? It was DJ Turner going at it?
So Jamar ended up throwing DJ's helmet, but it was actually a rookie, I believe, who had kind of gotten into it already with Mike Gesicki because during kind of, 7-on-7 drills, Gesicki caught a ball over the middle, did his usual where you run it out, and he jumped on the back of Gesicki to try to pull him down. And the offense was not happy about it. I think he tried something similar on Jamar. And, well, Jamar certainly was not putting up with it. And you know what? I will say this. I love a good camp scuffle.
Yeah.
It's first day back.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
God, I wish the Ravens had one.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you want that right now. You got, but other teams, other teams, it's good to watch.
A little shoving.
Well, if it's a little, I'll never forget Ravens Commanders. Just everyone going into battle. That was unbelievable. That was an all-timer. The joint practice, though, was nuts to watch. And just like Mark Andrews almost suplexing a guy, other players jumping into battle. It got crazy. But, yeah, I feel like it's nice to watch when it's not your team because sometimes you're holding your breath. Like, God forbid someone gets hurt or something happens. But when it's another team and you just watch across the league, helmets getting thrown, fists flying, football's back, baby. I'm so happy. It's just like the juices are flowing right now. Testosterone's at an all-time high. Like, back on the field, everyone's fired up. Like, it can't get much better than that. So, love it.
Hey, it can. And then, it's going to be fantasy football season. Kevin's going to be in 72 leagues going into the fall.
More than that. But you know what I won't do? I won't cut Mark Andrews from my fantasy team like you did.
Yeah. Never again.
Although you were the start of the resurgence.
I did for that run. He had then like 12 touchdowns in 6 weeks. It hurt, but I cared about the greater good.
Yeah. It was very big of you. Very big of you.
Yeah. I'm a team player here, guys. A lot to be excited about. And if you're an Oriole fan, if it was an hour ago, you were probably blowing up this chat, aka what up, Sam? And then on top of it, you were just saying this team freaking sucks. Ryan, this is awful. Tell your dad sell the team. What's going on? Also, by the way, I don't think my people really understand that my dad's Uncle David, Uncle Mike Arrighetti, and then Uncle Mike Elias. That's a whole different landscape. Calvin, he's there. There's so many moving parts that are going on with the organization trying to figure things out, and people are so frustrated with how this season has gone. But let's just in perspective. An hour ago, the season's over. Now the season's back on. That's the beauty of sports. But here's another part. Think about this. If you're the Tigers and you lose this game, you would have been tied with the Orioles, and you have this momentum. You lose this game, talk about their fan base losing their absolute shit. So I'm not saying that this team and the Orioles don't have problems. They do. The reason why it was 7-0, you made 3 errors and you had 3 unearned runs in this contest, right? Like, here's the other part. You still lose this game if you're Baltimore. You're going to sit back and go, damn, Trevor Rogers was grinding for us today. And we didn't help him out. We didn't help our pitching staff out enough. And yet the offense came alive. But this has happened at times. A big inning's great, but that can't be your savior. So hopefully the Orioles pull this off. It keeps them closer. They still have a lot of issues. But damn, this American League, guys, Doug Glanville said it yesterday. I'm sure Buck Showalter will have some words on it later on. It's the most unpredictable I've ever seen it. I really don't know who is actually a really good team outside of the Tampa Bay Rays. Because the Yankees right now have great pitching, and they just lost Bellinger and don't have Judge. So when I'm looking at this, who can you wholeheartedly say is elite in the AL? You can outside. Tampa, I'll give it. I'll give Tampa. Hey, great. Yankees, I think they're good. But now there's worries. And then what? Boston is now your third best team? Is that what I'm kind of reading between the lines here, guys? So it's fascinating.
Very fascinating. And Rip, we've talked about it before. There's 6 teams in the AL above 500. That's it right now. It is so wide open. It's crazy. No one has really separated themselves. You talk about the Rays, them being the best team. Like, there's still so much baseball left to be played. And I know that's cliche and people probably roll their eyes hearing me saying that, but it really is anyone's for the taking right now. And the AL East, you look at the teams that are over 500, it's the Rays, the Yankees, the White Sox, the Red Sox, the Rangers, and the Guardians. 3 of those teams are in the American League East. 3 of the top teams in the AL hail from the American League East. So it's just crazy to look at and think about and look at the record of the Orioles right now and say, oh, like, while they've stunk it up at times this season, they're not that far off a wild card spot right now, which is, again, crazy to think about. And I just want to take a moment again for Sam, because he might have set a record of comments in the chat before the show started, and this was one of them. And I just thought it was hilarious because, rightfully so, going off, it was a 7-0 game. Zach and I were talking about it. It's like the O's have been outscored 3 touchdowns to 0 the last 2 games. It was 21-0 at one point between the 2 games. And then they come back and rally. And it's so funny how life and baseball and everything works. Like when I used to work in TV, I would write a script if the O's would be down, and I know it's a different team like this season, but they'd be down, 4-1 in the 9th. I'd write my script, put the graphics in, send it away. O's lose the game 4-1, and they come back and win. And I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? So it's almost like that jinx. It works to perfection, but it's insane. It's insane right now. So and Sam, I don't blame you for the comment. Again, respect that. It's understandable, but it's just crazy how life and sports and baseball works sometimes. And now they have a chance to potentially win this game. But again, knock on wood, we'll see what happens and how it plays out.
So what I got from that too, Rock, and Zach, I think, Kev, you can back me up. Nate, I think Rocco is blaming you for the comment. But we'll have that conversation more here in just a second, because before we get into a little bit of this Orioles situation, and I want to talk about the situation with Pete and Dean yesterday, just to squash this, want to just have this convo. Before we do that, we got to cross streams here and check out our friends over at AutoStream Car Care Center, where, guys, there is 2 days left in the month of July, and that means AutoStream's $100 off any AC service deal is running out of time. So make sure you go to any of the 11 locations at AutoStream Car Care Center around Maryland. You mentioned my name, you mentioned this AC service deal, and again, any AC service, you get $100 off. Whammy, just like that. Mention my name, mention the deal. And AutoStream Car Care Center, proud partner here of the Ryan Ripken Show. So from that stream back to this stream, fellas, can I just get this Dean Kramer, Pete Alonso situation like out of it? I've seen a lot of people talking on social media. Like Kevin specifically was just going off on it. I'm like, whoa, Kev, it's okay.
I was wondering what was going on. So if you can tell me.
Yeah, I'd like to elaborate.
All right. Please.
Who cares what Kevin says?
Please elaborate. Yeah, that's true.
That sucks.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Rock. Hey. Okay, Rock.
Have fun with your trivia or whatever.
Yeah, seriously.
Shut up, Kevin.
All right, so let's go walk through this real quickly. Pickoff move, first inning of the game. Pete kind of catches it a little bit awkwardly, or kind of his body goes back and his gloves forward, which means typically when that happens, maybe you didn't see it as well. So right after that, Dean, and he always has this kind of resting bitch face. He just does. Love him. He just looks pissed all the time. But then he throws up one of these real quickly. Just throws it up. And that sent a image around social media of Dean's having attitude towards Pete Alonso. Screw this guy, blah, blah, blah. Dean showed up Sam Basayo last year, blah, 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 blah. The situation, truly, Dean goes, can you see it? Because the glare of which the stadium is in Detroit, and you're throwing over, it is a problem for first baseman at that time of day or night. And so you throw it over, and with Pete's reaction being like this and going back and putting his glove out, if you're throwing it over, you're like, hey, did you see it? Because if not, I don't want to throw this thing over with authority and it drills you or the ball goes away. So that was that situation. But of course, people wanted to take that back to what happened with Sam Basayo. And when it was walking off the field and the camera went to Dean, where it wasn't a big deal, it was just it caught Dean saying something like, hey, don't do that or can't do that or whatever it was. Both situations blown completely out of proportion. And I do understand Dean's become a polarizing player, that it feels like you either really support Dean or then people then just freaking hate on Dean left and right to go get this guy off the team because he's had 2 rough outings. But then you don't want to have the conversation for Dean Kramer that He's been the Orioles' most consistent pitcher. He's not asked to be your top 4 guy. He's your 5th starter, and he was a top 35 pitcher in qualified ERA and innings the last 2 years in all of baseball. So, and the Basayo thing, by the way, in cameras nowadays, it was something that Sammy, I think, wasn't supposed to do. So it wasn't showing up, but it's the optics of all this. So I just wanted to explain that. Now, obviously, I think it is fair to say Dino got his shit rocked yesterday. I think that is an understatement. It wasn't good. He had a tough outing the one before. And after his first 4 starts of the year, or 5 starts where he allowed only 4 earned runs once, he's now allowed 6 or more in the last 2. So I think the bigger conversation with this, Rock, and I will start with that, is Bassett is on his rehab right now, right? So Bassett's on his rehab. It's curious to see how it goes. I think he pitched well. Bali, I don't know if Bassett gets reinserted back into the starting rotation if when he comes back. I'm a little still worried about how his back goes, but at this point where you need more help in the pen and Bassett's pitched in the pen, my initial reaction is you put Bassett in the pen when he comes back. But I know that this is going to be the conversation, Kramer, Bassett. That's the one we're going to be dealt with.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with because of recent Dean starts. You know, if Dean was sitting there and he had a 4.41 ERA like he has the past, I think, 3 seasons, you know, is sitting in that 4.1 to 4.18 range, I don't think it's much of a conversation. I think people would be very on board with Bassett just taking over where he's more comfortable than Dean is out of the bullpen. Did it last year with Toronto, and he showed in big moments in the playoffs he could come through for you. So I think it wouldn't be a conversation. I still don't think maybe in the Orioles' eyes it's a conversation. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think when it comes to comfortability, I don't think there's a question. I think Chris Bassett's been there. He's done that. He's been a high leverage, almost reliever last year in the playoffs, in the World Series, games on the line, series on the line, seasons on the line. He's a guy who went out there, especially coming out of the bullpen with the right timing, right situation. I'm not sure with Dean how he would do out of the bullpen. You know, it's just one of those things. I'm not sure where he stands, you know, coming out of the pen, comfortability, all that, because it is a massive change. And hell, we saw it take Tyler Wells, even though he's been there, done that before, kind of took him like a month to finally get back into that groove of, okay, here's what it's like to be a reliever. And he's been pretty good since. Personally, I think it's just going to be Bassett goes to the bullpen just from comfortability. But, you know, maybe the conversation gets louder if Dean has another bad start and, you know, Bassett comes back. But if Dean just keeps doing his thing, can hover in that, you know, get his ERA back to that 4 to 4.2 range, I think he'll be the number 5 starter still, you know, even as guys get healthier.
I hope for Dean's sake it's, you know, a case of a couple shitty starts and that he gets back to being consistent, because like you talked about the other day, Zach, like Dean's going to give you 6, but you need the 6 to come with as little earned runs as possible. Again, easier said than done for a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. But when Dean has, you know, people have called him Big Game Dean in the past. He's pitching some really big games for the O's. Talking about the season where, you know, they end up going to the postseason, and it was Dean Kramer on the mound for those big games to clinch, to get there. And then in the postseason as well, regardless of the result, he's pitched in some big time situations, but the hope is that he can just limit his runs going forward. Again, easier said than done, but obviously you root for the guy and you want to see him succeed. But a case of, to your point as well, if bad outings keep happening going forward, yes, the conversation does get louder. It's a case of, okay, what do we do here? Do we have the conversation of moving Dean to the bullpen? Do we keep him as that, you know, 5th starter? and go from there. But Bassett, he does have the experience, Zach, like you talked about, going back to Toronto. Like he has the comfortability and the ability to pitch out of the bullpen. Like that's something that he's done before and that he's capable of doing. It's not going to work for every guy. And you might think, okay, just take a guy and place him in the bullpen, see what happens. It's not, I feel like, again, easier said than done there as well. You can't, some guys are built to be starters. Some guys are built to come out of the bullpen and kind of go from there. So with Dean again, I hope in his next start, he can turn it around. He can get back to the Dean Kramer that we know he can be and that he knows he can be at the end of the day. And Rip, to your point, you've talked about Dean in, the right light when it comes to him and when it comes to his mentality and his mindset, and spending time with him in spring training and being able to talk with him, and you being, one of his friends. You call a spade at the end of the day, but you see that there's potential there for Dean as well going forward.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not sugarcoating when things don't go well for any of the guys, even though I think as a player's perspective on what I've seen and grown up with, you're going to have these ups and downs. The same thing why I preach with Kobe Mayo. Got to let the dude get at bats. I'm pretty sure it was a 2-out. Was it the triple with the righty?
Yep. Triple to dead center. And he also has a fly out today that, let me get it. He flew out, would have been a home run, 413 feet dead center, would have been a homer in 24 of 30 ballparks.
Yeah. And this is, I want to pull some stats here in a second here, because I think that this is like a little game we can play, because your goal is to obviously try to be as consistent as you possibly can be. And you're going to have up and down months, and the best players in baseball have fewer up or down months. They're more even keeled. So I want to take you back then to last year. I mentioned about Dean Kramer, right? You guys want to guess again when it comes to qualified ERA last year, you could probably guess who was in front of Dean, like Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, Yamamoto, Chris Sanchez, Garrett Crochet, Joe Ryan, Clay Holmes, Framber Valdez, Zach Littell, by the way, who not the same this year. But so Dean Kramer finished top 35 of all qualified pitchers. Again, there was 150 pitchers in rotations. If you're doing 30 teams times 5, 30 times 5, 150. Guys that had a worse ERA than Dean Kramer last year. Sandy Alcantara. That's a hot name. And we know, Ryan, he's dealing with injuries. Okay. Well, Nick Martinez has bounced back and pitched well for the Rays. Will Warren for the Yankees. Sonny Gray, higher ERA than Dean Kramer. Jose Soriano, higher ERA than Dean Kramer. Guy that everyone was thinking, should we trade for him last year? Mitch Keller, same ERA as Dean Kramer. And guys that were just ahead of Dean last year for ERA. Chris Bassett, a fraction ahead of Dean Kramer. Kikuchi, Brady Singer, Michael Wacha, just ahead. Jesus Luzardo. And I'm saying fractional. And I don't like to look at all this and go, hey, I'm not trying to make the point of Dino should be the option, but when we're looking at a season, yeah, you could agree with this right now. Kevin, Dean was bad yesterday. If I told you in April of last year Dean had a 6.7 ERA, would you believe me?
I mean, he was bad yesterday, but he showed up in big moments.
But so last year in April, if I said Dean's ERA in April was 6.75, you'd say, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were asking a question. Yeah.
Answer the question.
Yes, it makes sense. Yes. I thought you were going. I thought you were doing something different. Yes.
Last year, Kev, Dean had a month of August where he had a 5.59 ERA. That would, go, yeah, man, this guy sucks, right? Like that's what the people that hate Dean.
I mean, yeah, people who hate Dean, yeah.
What if I told you Dean Kramer then for the month of May had a 2.72 ERA?
Sounds like the start of an ESPN 30 for 30.
What if I were to tell you Dean's ERA of all of June was 3.30? Pretty good, right? You take that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What if I told you his month of July was a 4.3? Okay. Average. It's fine. And then finally, what if I told you his month of September last year was a 1.10 in 4 starts? So what I try to say in this whole picture is Dean is who he is right now. He's a guy that knows who he is. He can pitch the high moments and he can pitch the low moments. I think it's really hard to say you're going to find these guys that are go out there and be at the elite level. That's a hard thing to look for. But if the complaint is over Dean, yeah, Dean had a terrible game. Zach, I think you made a great point. Did the Orioles still lose yesterday if Dean gives up one run?
Yeah. You know, the offense didn't help at all.
Again, he's got to fix it. There's no doubt he's got to fix this. But you can't live and hold on to the starts. This is what he has done for his career. He is what his record is. His numbers speak for themselves. You're going to have great moments. You're going to have bad moments. You're going to have some shit moments and everything in between. Ride the wave with Dino Kramer. And above all here, I think a bigger concern is the Orioles giving themselves more chances by playing cleaner games. Let's not have 3 errors in a game. What just happened, Zach?
Gunnar got doubled off in extras on a line drive. First pitch, Beavers pop up and see Christian Encarnacion Strand line drive. Let me see what it was off the bat real fast. Absolute shot. Actually only 92 off the bat, drive, and Gunnar broke on contact, and there was nothing he could do once it was caught.
So once again, making errors, physical errors, mental errors, that to me is the storyline of the Orioles season. Because starters are going to have bad nights. You can't make those types of mistakes over and over again, guys. Like, they lose this game. This was an epic comeback. And then all of a sudden, there was 7 runs. Hey, it's a good fight. And guess what? You probably should have won the game, but that's not going to go down the box score as a mental mistake. 1. And then you had 3 physical errors that led to 3 physical runs. Right? Like,
it's yeah. This is in typical Orioles fashion. Come back, get the hopes up. We'll see what happens in the bottom of the 10th. But if you have a pit in your stomach right now watching the game, I don't blame you, because it's the feeling that we all know what's about to happen, and it's just like, it is what it is. It sucks.
Yeah. And the Orioles offense has the potential to be really good. Has it been? No. This Orioles team has the potential to pitch really well. Has it so far, the starters over the last 2 months? Yes, but bad first month. But this Orioles team has the potential to be really good, but they're struggling because the pieces that you got to have wins, you're not doing that well enough consistently. And guys, I swear to you, there's probably at least 20 games, Kev, maybe 30. The Orioles lose this game. Would this be another one where you go, damn, they could have won that one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could go back at the end of the season and rank them if we wanted to. I mean, it's been that type of year. It's been unfortunate. But again, game's not over yet. So got to manifest positive energy, I guess.
Thanks, Mr. Positivity.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. It helps.
Man on third, 1 out.
And look, this is baseball, guys. Like, it's a hard game. It can seem very complex, which it can be, but it's the simple fact of who executes better that night. You execute better, you win. You don't execute well enough, more times than not, you lose. You know, and that's just the nature of the beast. Situational execution, knowing where you got to be on cutoffs, making the plays you got to make. You'll surprise yourself. You do all those little things over and over and over again.
Double play. Sorry.
What?
You got a double play.
I'm looking at it too.
Oh, goodness gracious, man. Well, these teams.
If the show wants to see what I'm about to post on my page today,
Rip, this would be a great time to bring our guest on, who's been patiently waiting behind the scenes But it's yeah. I mean, and it's 4:00 right now, so this is perfect. But you gotta make it happen.
Well, this is fitting because I'd like to see some moments. I think honestly, he's going to say you learn something new every time. But I swear there's few people that have probably experienced or seen almost all of it than our next guest. So, Buck, if you're ready, give me a thumbs up behind the scenes. Ready to rock and roll. Friend of the show, friend of the program, friend of Baltimore, and a part of this community and longtime big league manager. Let's bring on Buck Showalter. Buck.
Guys, I'm watching it too.
So okay, you're watching this. Thoughts on being doubled off in these scenarios? I mean, you've seen a million of these.
Can't happen. It's just really, you see the ball through over there. More importantly, I think the preparation before the pitch is thrown. Okay, I know where the shortstop's playing. I know the type of ball that, I've got to see through. And if I end up on third with one out, it's okay. Especially in Detroit where left field's so deep. There's still a chance you may score on that. And usually the left fielder doesn't throw as well. But, it's funny, I turn it on because I haven't watched a complete game with them much. Well, probably not at all, to be honest. But I think we brought it all into perspective there. And you can see why Detroit's struggling too,
It's a.
Ryan, you got 7-0 and Scoopel on the mound. You like your chances?
If you had told me we lost the game, I'd say you're crazy, and you are a little bit nuts, Buck. But yeah, I think that I'd win that game 10 times out of 10.
I was looking the other day. I had somebody with the MLB Network look up. Just out of curiosity, if you take the AAA team, the AA team, the 2A clubs, and the complex league, and we won't get into that setup, but I said, hey, do me a favor, take the 30 teams and do their win-loss record, their win percentage. Just group all the teams together. I think the Orioles and Mets were 29th and 30th. Can't happen, right? Can't happen. Mm-hmm. It's part of player development. And I think some of the things, I can remember sitting in front of the dugout before every game in the minor leagues and listening and listening to my manager and talking to my players about, okay, how did we win that game? What did they do to lose it? What did we do to lose it? Or whatever. Tell me about something that happened in the second inning about, for instance, the base running play. He's not trying to make a mistake, but sometimes I think it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's who's responsible for that. And these guys come up to the big league so fast, you can't assume anything.
It's true. And we've had this conversation, Buck, in the past about the development process. And when you call a young player up, and I could go down we are going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. And then also we got to celebrate Chris Davis, CD, going into the Orioles Hall of Fame this weekend. But onto that note, the development side is so important, and making sure you give your team the best chance. And so in this circumstance, right, the Orioles win this game. It's the best feeling because you really shot yourself in the foot a few times. 3 physical errors, and then with Gunnar getting doubled off, not a physical error, but it's one that you sit there and go, that hurts. That's something that shouldn't happen. And that's happened a lot for the team over time. Now, where I want to go with this is on young players coming up and trying to find themselves again. And this is, Chris Davis brought it up just about how good the defense was for you all in those early 2010s years of just
by design, Ryan.
Yeah. So, I mean, the importance of that, though, Buck, that's one less thing you got to worry about when you know your unit is prepared at every step of the way. That takes a ton of pressure off of not only your pitching staff, it gives you confidence that they're going to bail you out and you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah. It's about making leads matter, and I know, and knowing who you are. And one of the things that we wanted when we acquired players is they had to be good defenders. You look at Chris Davis, you look at Scope and Hardy and Machado and Wieters and Markakis and Jones and Nate McLeod and Steve Pierce. They were all above average defenders. That takes some boots on the ground more than just looking at numbers to know, do I want the ball hit to them in the ninth inning? They know what to do with it before it gets to them. Can they relay the ball from a good position? Do they know the way the game is supposed to be played? There's a way to do it, but it requires people to know what they're looking at. And, I think knowing who you are and also being able to evaluate your own people. So many people will go, wait a minute, he was our first round pick, but sometimes it's okay to make a mistake, but you're going to make it up in other rounds. Know who you are and separate the prospects and the suspects, so to speak, and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
One of the great things about Gene Michael, and I'll stop. Gene Michael with the Yankees always admitted when he had made a mistake. Guys, this isn't working out. We missed on this one. Let's move on. Let's move on. The real mistake is continue to compound the problem by trying to make something there that's just not there. And also, he got it away from Steinbrenner's eyesight, which was very big at the time. Get the mistake away from him.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's a hard thing to admit when you've made a mistake or things haven't worked out and you got to turn the page. That is a hard part. One thing, it's perfect timing because CD mentioned the conversation you had with him when he got to Baltimore, and Chris was in the minor leagues, was in the big leagues, came up with Texas and really struggled. And then they didn't have a spot for him. And then this, right? You prioritize and say, all right, Chris is expendable, so we're going to make him available. And obviously he was. Him, Tommy Hunter came over, and he said you had a conversation with him early about that you were going to give him a chance, but he's got to go and earn it because he's no longer this prospect of a young guy that we've developed, that we've had our eyes on for years. We think you can do some good things, but we also have to evaluate you and some other guys. Does that kind of sound familiar for a conversation that you had with him?
Yeah, it may have been a little more blunt than that. He's kind of being nice, but it's basically, it's like what I said with a first round pick, whatever. Chris, we gave up a really good player to get you and Tommy and whoever. But at some point, and we're going to create a good environment. You're going to go out there, but you're going to have to seize the opportunity and run with it. This isn't a tryout camp. I go, we're trying to win. We're trying to catch the Yankees and the Red Sox at that time, and Toronto and Tampa. But, we like you and everything that goes with you. One, because he could defend well enough to keep him in the lineup when he was going through a bad spell. When guys can't defend and they're going through that sophomore, sometime, whatever you want to call it, it's a double whammy. When you're letting one in and not driving in any, I can do that math, Ryan. Alone. But Chris got that, and he ran with it. And let me say one thing about that trade.
Yeah.
As much grief as sometimes people gave Mr. Angelos, he was the one that pushed for Chris to be in that deal. They initially balked at it, and they were going to try to do something else, and I think Andy was going to do it, McPhail, but Peters would not take the deal without Chris in it, and he fought for that, and hats off to him, because there was a couple of times I thought it was going to fall apart.
Isn't that the funny part of the trade deadline time, which I got to get some trade deadline stories for you. But, Buck, I actually got a question for you because this is on the other side of the development. This is then one of your guys you've watched come up. This is one of the guys that you're going to prioritize. Before I get to that question, if a guy's got 6 knocks in 2 games, are you worried about matchup as much, or you want to see him in there because he's swinging the bat well?
Ryan, a little bit it depends on who it is because you want to keep that good feeling. If this guy's a support player and a guy that plays in certain situations and a what-if guy, you want to keep him away from things that take him away from what he's good at. Mm-hmm. But a young player, I would let that run because you don't know what they are. It's like Mattingly years ago didn't play against a left-handed starter in Oneonta when he was 19. He asked the manager, why aren't I playing tonight out of curiosity? He said, well, there's a left-handed pitcher on the mound. And Donnie said, so? Until we start putting it in their brain that they can't hit the left-hander. But I found that most good left-handed hitters in the big leagues, their father was left-handed and threw batting practice to him, by the way. But no,
so this is perfect then, Buck, because the hitter that I'm talking about is Jackson Holliday.
Yeah.
And earlier this year, he had a 4-hit game and didn't start the next day. And he came in and did his job, but for this case, he's got a hit in 6 of the last 7 games. He has 4 multi-hit games over this stretch, and over the last, if I have the at-bats, 14 at-bats, He's 8 for 14. And for the month of going into today, he was hitting 353. And I think as we're talking right now, Jackson Holliday just got another hit. So make that 5 multi-hit games. And he didn't start this game, Buck. So I think for me, young player Jackson Holliday, I want to see him in there as much as possible because I think that's the only way you're going to find out if he's going to be your everyday guy.
Well, Ryan, what's their reasoning when they ask about it?
They said, like today for Scooble being on the mound and him not in the starting lineup, I saw Albie was talking about, well, we want to change we'll go for the matchup. You know, it's not just a normal lefty, it's Scooble, and obviously Scooble top dog. But then they said it's a way to keep Jeremiah Jackson fresh, get him some at-bats as well. That was kind of the reasoning for Jackson sitting at least today to start.
Yeah, he just got a hit off a left-handed pitcher in the last inning. You know, sometimes we make these guys – can you imagine if I told Chris Davis that he wasn't going to hit against left-handed pitching? You know? And sometimes we put it in their brain a little bit, and there's an old expression that they don't bite when they're a puppy, and they're not going to bite when they're a big dog. I wouldn't want to put any negative doubt in his mind, but I'm not as close to it. You know, Jeremiah Jackson, we had him. He's a nice player too, but kind of, you know, who are we and where are we going? And if this guy's Holiday's going to be a part of all your interaction, you might want to. You know, I know what it looks like on the surface, but I found there's always a lot more to it.
Right. Well, and for me right now, handmade bone to start off the year. They're trying to get comfortable. I thought he did a lot of great things last year in a tough year for the team. And above all, too, that's where I look at the development side. And I still remember us talking about Machado, where he came up, he was so good defensively. And I know you had Bobby Dickerson down there in Double-A and working with him, but also Manny didn't have to come up and be the Manny that's supposed to be the star. It was, Manny, play good defense. We'll live with the struggles, but we're going to have you out there. Yeah, and I think right now for Jackson, I could tell a little bit looking at him, there's a little frustration because he was hurt. He's not used to playing second base enough at the big league level, but he still thinks he can do it. And right now he's now hitting 363 for the month of July, Buck. You know, so there's a confidence with a young player, and I think you just touched on it. It's let me rephrase it. You were so good at understanding the guys, and the goal is you want to get the most out of them. So in your mind, with a young guy like that, how do you toe that line? Because that ultimately is your future.
You bring up a good point, Ryan, is getting comfortable in a position. When a young player comes to the big leagues and he's completely changed positions, that's why we spent almost 2 months with Manny at third base in Bowie before we brought him up. Nobody even knew about it because we didn't want that to be a challenge, and we wanted to be sure that wasn't going to be a reason why his psyche or his mentality. Can you imagine all of a sudden, going from shortstop to second base is a big change. Going from third to second, when you change, people think, well, I can just take a catcher and stick him at first base, take an infielder and make him an outfielder. Angles are different. The background look is different. The depth perception is different. I tell people when guys come to the big leagues, there's a little more topspin on the ground balls. The guys are half a step faster going down the line. The game speeds up, and you speed his brain up. Now Jackson's got to slow his game down at second base, instead of playing at a different tempo. And that's why we used to take drills with a clock. We'd set it on 4 flat, or we'd set it on 4-5, or we'd set it on 3-8 if we really wanted to see them rush. And also to show of the players, especially a lot of the Latin players the young Latin kids were out of control speed-wise, and so were some of the Americans, but some way to slow them down and make them realize how long they have, or in some cases, how little time they have. But Jackson, I think you make a good point. Making a position change should not be underestimated.
It's a hard switch, and that's why he played shortstop the other day, gave Gunnar the off day. And I don't know, did this game just get tied up? Yeah. Classic. Hey, Buck, what do you got for me? Then I got a follow-up for you.
We'll stay on to the games, though, which might be 3 hours.
It might never end. Hey, Buck, on that line, Is there anything that surprises you anymore in moments? Do you have any games where that you sit back there and you laugh and go, that was pretty wild?
Yeah, you think you control this, and all of a sudden the baseball gods go, "I'm going to show you a game or that you've got and you just sit back there and take it like a man. You do. It's like this is getaway day. It's like the Chris Davis pitching in Fenway Park. I mean, some days you go, and to realize that this is one of those days, all the conventionality goes out the window for the most part, and you're at the mercy of the baseball gods. I used to go, hey, let's go out in the dugout and see what the boys have in store for us today. Because you think you think you can script games and show exactly how everything's going to go. I want to see the script on this one.
Yeah, you can't make it up.
Hey,
Getting shut out.
The teleprompter broke, okay?
And it continues to break in this sport, Buck. It's never going to stop. And you mentioned a game in Boston where you had a first baseman that I believe was 0 for 8 with 5 punchies on the day. And I think, Rock, do we have that clip from Chris yesterday or 2 days ago? All right, Buck, this was Chris talking about that moment. We're going to play it, and then let's talk about it on the other side.
Sitting on the bench, and Buck looked over his shoulder, and like, we all know Buck, man. He's always thinking about something. And I'm like, what does he got for me? And he's like, hey, if we get out of this inning, you need to go down to the bullpen. And I was like, I'm not going to say what I thought in my head because it's a lot of profanity, but I was like, you're right, I am. And so I went down there, and it's such a long run in Fenway.
So take us back to that moment, Buck, because the teleprompter broke, and then off schedule, you went, hey, CD.
What's funny is first of all, sometimes you have to sacrifice one so you can compete. We were at the point where if we started using other people, we were not going to be able to hold our bullpen together and put some people at physical risk, and we weren't going to do it. We didn't make many player changes in our bullpen. We had 7 or 8 guys, and they were pretty much it. You'll see just about all of them at Chris's induction on Friday and Saturday. So I still see the way they go back and forth at AAA, and I go, what's going on? But Chris, I had done a little homework on Chris. When we get players, I always like to look at bios. I want to know their school colors, their mascot. It means a lot to them. You walk up and go, hey, how the Panthers going to do this year at Northview High School, And they look up and go, wow, you got any black and gold with you? They know that you've thought about it. Well, I had seen that Chris had pitched in junior college, I believe it was, and had pitched some in high school. And we all knew he had a good arm. And the key was not to tell him 2 innings early and have the squirrels running around in that hamster cage, so to speak. So the worst thing was how far he had to go down there. But if you look at it this way, as bad a day as he was having offensively, we were giving him an opportunity. He's playing with house money. He could come out of that as one of the most successful days he's ever had and not get a hit. So his mentality was, hey, I'm going to let it rip, and the way it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll have something funny to talk about on the plane ride. I wish everybody could experience that post game and going to the plane and the bus and watching the guys. I would always leave them alone on the plane, but I'd walk in there, just walk down the aisle, keep my mouth shut. There was a buzz, and I knew we had something special. But the baseball gods, I tell you what, he had good stuff. He had pretty good stuff. But when the ground ball, Bobby Valentine raised hell about it because he didn't think you could take a DH and put him in the pitcher spot. And I fortunately had knew the rule. And then an inning later, he took his DH and put him in the game, and that's how we scored. But coming off that field, under your breath, you're going, "Are you shitting me?" But you don't. Just another day at the park, But Chris had that grin on his face. Weeders, oh my gosh! And coming off the field, everybody, that long day ended up being like everybody on a cloud. And the game will lift you up. And I tell guys, if you're true to the game and you do what's right and you're sincere, the game will always let you up off the deck. There are going to be moments when you go, hey, uncle. But if you stay true to it, it'll always let you up.
I love the full story on that because just like fans watching the game, they had the same reaction you're having in the dugout. You shouldn't me. We actually just won this game, and CD went out there and shut down the Red Sox. And you're right. It's the moments after that people don't talk about. And it's those memories that you have. And, getting to talk to Chris again, I hadn't seen him in 7 years, Buck, since we're down in spring training. And I remember seeing his face then. And I told him off air, I said, I could see so much frustration. It weighed on him so much, the struggles, that you could tell that the fun was being drained, and he felt, he felt embarrassed. He felt on an island. He got the big contract and was feeling all the heat, and all he cared about was, I want to try to win for these guys. And, Buck, you had a front row seat of this. The Orioles, with you guys there and Chris, don't have that run without him.
You know what Chris was, Ryan? You know what he was? He was a pleaser. And it created a lot of anguish for him not to be able to return the confidence that they put in. Everybody wants to talk about the contract. He didn't hold anybody's arm behind their back and make them do that.
Yep.
Okay, that's something that Peter wanted to do. He had a special affection for him. And I got to tell you, he's going in the Hall of Fame as much off the field as he is on the field.
Yep.
He put his money where his mouth is. The things he's done for some of the hospitals and wings around there, thank God that's part of the evaluation. Because Chris was a splendid player. You don't score 100, drive in 100, hit 50-something home runs. And he wanted to return the confidence that the Orioles gave him by trading for him.
Yeah.
He was a pleaser and still is. And I'm just real proud of the father and husband that he's turned into, because at the end of the day, that's kind of what you're going to be held accountable for. Not that you struck out X amount of time, but, I enjoyed getting Chris. Great sense of humor, laughed easily, but took the right thing seriously. Good teammate.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that again, because we talked about it. That was the one things I brought up to him, was his impact was more important even off the field, with the Maryland Children's Hospital being one specific group. And hearing him talk about that, the passion that he had then and still has for it now. And he was saying trying to get in early specifically to spend more time, those relationships that he built. And he loved Baltimore. And I think that was at the end, but it wasn't the, hey, I love the city because I'm playing here. It's no, I love the city, I'm playing here, and I love the people, and I want to help these people.
Ryan, that's a great point, because I told him, that's one of the early conversations, and this isn't Dallas. This is a blue collar, not how big your car is, how nice a house you have, what kind of designer clothes. These are people that come to the park to watch the Orioles win, and it means something to them. And this is right up your alley, Chris, if you'll embrace it, because there's a real sincerity about the fans here. And it's why, players are so drawn back to it, because there's no phoniness about it. And, they just give them something to last on to. I told the players all the time, it's your responsibility to give them something to cheer for. A family of four comes out here and parks and pays for concession and everything. I used to feel so much pressure, Ryan, on opening day. I wanted that family to go back and get in their car and go, man, that was fun. That was great. I've got a team to pull for. There's nothing worse than throwing a clunker out there on opening day, because there's a lot of people going, I don't think I'm going back to that. But Chris, I'm glad to see that, just a good human being. He lived not too far from me, obviously in a different neighborhood, but we used to spend some off days. Adam Jones would come down. I had a couple of donkeys, bring the kids. But it was a special time for him, and I'm glad he's being honored. It meant a lot to him.
Again, it's those moments that we're not talking about statistics. Now, I do want to ask you in a moment some of your best moments with Chris, whether it was results on the field or maybe not, but actually Chris had something he loved doing with you specifically, and it'd be after games or anytime, specifically, I should say, home runs that he hit. So I'm going to play this clip, and then we're going to talk about it.
Sometimes on mound visits, we all know, we can see what's happening. We're all out there together. We're all behind you, Jerry, whoever's pitching, whatever his name is. Some days it's just not your day. And some of the stuff that would come out of his mouth, as the guy's walking away, Weedy would just look at me and just go, I'm just like, yeah, we were all thinking it, man. I know he said it, but we were all thinking it. I just used to love how pissed off Buck used to get when we used to play the Yankees or go to New York. I loved wearing his hand out when I hit a home run. I had a good stretch for a while to where I was like not trying to hurt him, but like definitely not trying to hurt him.
Yeah.
And then John Russell came up to me one day and he's like, he loves that shit. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I do. That's why I do it. But he was good, and he was just so good about staying out of our way. Like he knew what we needed, and he didn't try to overstep his boundaries. I think the fact that he let us police ourselves, and we did for the most part, but we had a bunch of good dudes, man. I said that this morning.
So, Buck.
What did John Russell say to him? What did John say?
He said, he loves that shit when you. So is that true? Is that true that you didn't mind Chris wearing out your hand?
I got to tell you, do you remember the thing he used to do where they would pop forearms?
Yep.
Ain't doing that. That's a no-no. I got to write the lineup out the next day. But, there was a way to give with it where you didn't take the full blow and you knew it was coming. You just kind of give with it. But it was so, I don't know if you remember the clip where I was going to high five Mark Reynolds or somebody, and they had to go up the runway, I don't know, to use the bathroom, and I had the phantom handshake with them. But no, I knew it was coming, and yeah, I did enjoy it. It made me feel like one of the guys. When guys get out of the game, what they miss, Ryan, is they miss that glance where your eyes lock for a second. I don't mean like some romantic thing, but and he knows, and something you may have worked on. I remember a play where two guys on the bag we had talked about, and something happened, and we came out ahead of it. And just kind of looking down at him, Wieters, and him looking back at me, and just a little nod of the head. No words spoken, but there was just a mutual respect with that group. And it was a lot of fun to be around because they got it. And they knew who they were. And Chris was a big part of that. He was strong. Good gosh, watching him work out. There was a different guy there. Watching him take batting practice. Back when they took batting practice on the field, remember those days?
I did. Hey, do you think the home run derby was in Baltimore? He would square up the warehouse.
Oh my gosh, especially they don't want to say it, but they use juice balls for that home run derby.
Buck, I was there. I'm thinking. I turned to Rocco and I went, Rock, man, that miss hit that got out, and then it goes 450. 490. I go, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I got in trouble talking about the balls. I took a dozen back with me when I was at the All-Star game, and they were jumping out of my suitcase.
Oh, Buck, man. These are the baseball moments I love. We could talk X's and O's on the field, but it's the outside stuff that is always so great. Hey, got a couple things to wrap up for you.
I got one for you. I found this out. I want you to think about these people. And tell me if this happens anymore. I got a list of who's coming to Chris's Hall of Fame.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah, they're making the effort to come in here. Matt Wieters, Brad Brock, Zach Britton, Darren O'Day, Craig Gentry, good player. Wayne Kirby, Tommy Hunter, Scott McGregor, Adam Jones, Jim Johnson, Scott Coolbaugh, Nick Markakis, and I'm probably missing a couple myself. Now, I just want to know if everybody can draw that and why. Why are these guys so connected? That's when you go through, there's something about keeping a group together when you get the right guys. And the problem is we got to the point where we couldn't afford to keep all of them.
Yeah.
And, our window of opportunity in 18 ran out, and it was painful. It was like watching your sons go away. I remember John Scope coming in and saying, Skip, I've been traded. And I'm like, really? And that was painful. But think about that group, Ryan.
It's a special group. I mean, well, and that's the part is they spent, I know you mentioned the shuffle of going up and down and being in that locker room and being together and going through all those moments. One, that matters. That building and that trust matters. The other part is the amount of guys that are coming back also speaks volume to Chris and how they think of him.
Ryan, the talent shows that we would have in Sarasota every spring, I wish now, I made sure that everybody checked their cell phone at the door and there was no filming. I wish we'd have filmed some of it. I really do. That group, they had some other talents. I'm telling you, it was pretty special. Watching Ryan Flaherty play catch with the monkeys from the zoo, that was must-watch talent. Watching some of the guys from Korea try to do a Disney song in English, that was must-watch talent show. I tell you, Ryan Flaherty made the club. He and T.J. McFarland did an impression of Ditka. And I said to myself, these guys have the guts to get up in front. They were both on the bubble. They were Rule 5 guys. If these two guys have the guts to get in front of their peers and put themselves out there like that with just complete disregard, it says something about them. So, yeah, they made the club because of the talent show. How's that? And the monkeys. We got in trouble with the health department and the Society for Prevention for Cruelty to Animals. We got fined because you're not supposed to have those monkeys in a, I guess, enclosed environment. I don't know how Ryan got them there. Okay.
Jim Johnson was telling me he got in trouble because for choosing their fantasy football race, they had crabs race.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's all of these types of stories. I mean, going way back in the day, Ben McDonald brought a gator to the locker room. That crazy son of a bitch.
Have you ever seen the Clubby Olympics? We used to do that every spring where the clubbies, everybody would bet and put a lot of money out there, and we'd have about 5 events, and the clubbies would compete before the workout. Pretty special.
Did we have who was the favorite that won? Did it change every year?
We thought Freddie Tyler. Freddie was tough to beat. The Tyler family was well represented.
They are. They got that legacy and lineage. You know what I mean? So, man, those are awesome stories, Buck, and that's what I miss about that. That's the cool part of when someone goes into the hall here, we can discuss and talk about of all the good. Did you have one of your favorite moments from Chris before I let you go of him on the field?
You had to keep in mind as a manager that players allow you to manage them. You know, you're a ship passing in the night, I used to tell them. I am. And I know that there's going to be another guy come along, and the shelf life of managers, even though I was lucky to be in Baltimore for a while. Chris, you know, he was always a guy that, with all the things he did offensively, he took such pride in his defense. And I love the fact, and there's no pure example. Chris, we need somebody to play third base for a couple of games. Got it, Skip. Hey, Chris, we'd like to get this guy in the lineup. In order to do it, you got to play right field for a couple of games. Got it, Skip. And big arm. This was a well-rounded player. And I don't know. There's so many. Watching Chris win the relay contest in spring training from left center field, you know, with all the arms that we had around there, Chris, as he said, if he did it every day, he wouldn't be able to scratch his rear. But no, he was a guy that could always kind of dial up what was needed. You know, okay, hey, we need a 3-run homer here. You know, this guy scored 100 runs multiple times. And he hit 280, 270. This wasn't, you know, and even though his contact to damage ratio was through the roof, and that's my analytics for the day.
Yeah. He was a guy that people do forget of just how damn good he was when he was going and why he earned the contract that he did. That one year where he still holds the record most home runs in Orioles history with 53 in a season. He drove in 138 runs that year and scored 103. And then in 2015, he scored 100 runs. 2016 scored 99. Super productive player there, Buck. It's been really fun to watch.
Ryan, how many walks do you have those years?
I just had it here. Hold
80,
on.
Probably around 90, 80 or 90.
Walks. In 2013, in the big year, he had 72. And then those other years, 84 and 88.
And the strikeouts were well over. So you think about it. He was walking, hitting a home run, striking out. And he was not a base clogger. This guy could run a little bit. Underweight, he was a good base runner. He wouldn't have been doubled off at second base, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Hey, Buck, I could go on and on with you with all this, and I hope. Well, the game's still going. We got to talk some injuries here with my injury expert. But I got to ask you this because you're the one of the best referees that no one knows about. But in the summertime, okay, my friends over at CQ, we're talking about summer activity. Okay, what's a better summer activity? And you can add your option if it's not one of these three. Okay, ping pong. Mini golf, pool basketball, or cornhole, or is a fourth option Buck Showalter's go to?
I enjoy playing ping pong. I was pretty good at it.
You would play ping pong? Were you any good?
I was pretty good. I finally beat my mom was real good growing up, and I don't know. We had a Sears and Roebuck pool table and a Sears and Roebuck ping pong table. And I don't know how we afford it, but my college years, that's how I got spending money, was playing pool. Don't tell anybody. Got pretty good at it.
I think one day, Buck, can we just come on here and you just talk about everything that you had to do throughout your baseball journey that doesn't have to do with actual baseball?
Yeah, we'll talk about driving the team bus down Lookout Mountain in Chattanooga one day because the bus driver got sick. Guys, Ryan, guys all falling asleep coming down, and they look up and the bus driver walks by them and goes to the bathroom, and we're still moving, and they're all looking up there. I just said, guys, I got it. Don't worry. Put it in third gear, keep it from going over 40 miles an hour, take it down the mountain. I got 2 hits next day too for that.
See, you know what? You just show up and play.
Hey, you never know what the baseball guys are going to bring you.
I think that is the key for everyone here. You never know. When you think you got it figured out, these baseball gods will remind you. Well, Buck, I hope to see you Saturday. If not, I'll see you soon. Appreciate you as always. And, let's see if this game ever ends.
Thanks for having me, Ron. You guys take care. God bless.
Thanks, Buck Showalter, everybody. Yeah, there's going to have to be a dedicated day where we go down this rabbit hole with Buck about things when you were like, hey, let's talk about baseball. And there's so many stories that, it's a part of baseball, but then there's like side quest of Buck Showalter. But that's the beauty that I love with all of baseball, the minor leagues, and going through the years is that these journeys for guys to get to where they have gotten to, it's not exactly how you think they got there. And that's the fun part. That's the exciting part. And that's obviously then why sports is so great. And above all, too, Buck was a great guy to talk about Chris Davis, not only because he was his manager, but you got to see the day-to-day of the Chris Davis that wasn't the player, the Chris Davis, the person that people should know more about of. And that's a tremendous list that's coming back to celebrate him. And I always say to people when it comes to anything that you do, specifically, though, in sports, the biggest compliment you get is not from all the stats. The biggest compliment you get is from the peers that you spend time with, because your peers, that's what's going to continue to last with you and with them for years to come. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And we're still going with the show, and the Orioles game's still going on here. I think we still got Zach, you still here, and Kevin and Rock or whoever's on?
I'm somewhere. I don't think Kevin's here, but we this is something.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can have a little Brady Bunch moment here and Yoni can then join us here because, Yoni, we're going to talk about these injuries and what's going on. He's our guy. But also, we can all join in on the live reaction if the Orioles actually win this game. And you guys know him as my go-to. He's also the owner of True Sports Physical Therapy. Yoni, you ready to give me a thumbs up behind the scenes? Double thumbs up. Damn, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Dr. Yoni, everybody. Yoni.
Rip, don't bring me on after Buck. How am I supposed to follow that?
You got to deal with it. Don't like it, play better.
Unbelievable. I could talk to that guy for hours.
He is one of a kind.
Great basketball ref. Great basketball referee.
I honestly, when Yoni we were talking, was it last week about basketball and playing again. I'm sorry it's not working out for the timing, but I'm
tour
in.
To court. We need you on tour to court, Rip.
Yoni, I really do think we should try to get Buck up to ref a game.
Oh God, that'd be gold. That would be gold.
I think that's our new plan. Rock, I know we talked about celebrity or the softball games. I think basketball. And then the celebrity is that Buck Showalter refs this game.
That would be unbelievable. And I think Buck would just he's going to dust off the old striped shirt, get the whistle, and come on out. We've seen his, the hand signals that he gives, Yoni, and how he did a full-on display for us. I think one of the last times he came on here, and it was incredible. I'm it's like watching a professional official right now. And breaking news, he was a college official before he got into managing as well, or he did that part-time on the side. The things that we don't know about Buck that he just brings to the table every week is incredible.
How good is that charge call? Better charge call, better blocking.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
I can see
absolutely.
It.
Oh my goodness.
Well, hey Yoni, we'll get into some talk here, but you're staying busy all the time with True Sports Physical Therapy. You're working with, it feels like, everybody in this region. But for those that don't know, where are you guys all located right now?
We're everywhere injured athletes are, or people that just want to move better and feel better, perform better. So we're throughout Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware. We just opened 2 spots in Virginia. Super excited about that. And then come September, we'll see you in Atlanta. How's that?
Woo.
How's that for breaking news?
Oh, wow. Hot Atlanta, True Sports Physical Therapy. We're on the move.
A lot of athletes down there.
Oh, man. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, I can see why you expand, and you know how I feel about it. Hence, that's why when things happen, I go, Yoni, are you free? Can you give me some time? Because you've worked with every athlete from any level to the ones that are trying to learn themselves to the athletes and the pro athletes at the top of their game and sport. You've seen it all. So you were the guy I had to talk to. We'll get to the baseball injuries in a second, but the big news in Baltimore right now, how about Matabikes, Yoni? Nnamdi Matabike. I'm going to be very positive here to start off, okay? I know apparently you and Zach had a moment where it was a little bit more positive when I wasn't here. Yeah, so I'm trying to take a deep breath, but he was taken off the physically unable to perform list, passed his physical, and practiced. The journey for Matabikes is amazing, but what does that actually mean from a medical standpoint from this whole sequence?
I mean, at first glance, this is the very best that you could hope for. So unbelievable news coming out of Ravens camp. He's doing as well as you could have hoped to pass that physical. No one's going to take that lightly with the neck injury that he had. Now, it's interesting to point out, we don't know exactly what surgical procedure he had. Right. Most likely it's something called an ACDF, which is where they go in, shave down your disc a little bit, and then put a little piece of metal to hold the bones together to fuse just one level. That's our best guess based upon his return. But seems like he passed it with flying colors. The biggest test now moving forward, because I assume that's your next question, is how is he going to handle direct hits to the head?
Yep.
How is he going to handle repeated direct hits to the head? And you're going to see that over the course of camp. So right now, most likely, he's kind of getting back on the field, doing some individual work, maybe working with the team, non-contact. They'll slowly ramp up his contact through preseason. And then kind of throw him to the wolves. So he's not there yet to take 50, 60 snaps, but he's on his way. I mean, we couldn't ask for more. Those are things to look for. Does this guy kind of show up in the questionable injury report? How much soreness comes along with a piece of this recovery? Hopefully they'll let us kind of know as he progresses, but this is hell of a news for Ravens fans.
It is hell of a news, and we know the impact that it has. And you led through the worst. We're not out of the woods yet for all this, but to get to this point, which was such a doubt, and even last year, the reports were coming out, this could be it for him. It could be the career is over. So the fact that we're here is just flat out amazing.
Yeah, it's great. I always try to look at who do we know that has looked like Nnamdi and gone through a procedure like this.
Yep.
The list isn't massive. I think I mentioned this last time when we talked about it. Jason Pierre-Paul is a close comp, although he played more on the edge, I think. But able to come back, take direct contact, won a Super Bowl the year he came back, performed at a high level, and did so for a number of years after. I think he had it done in 2019. So we've certainly seen it done. It's a long road, and they got to build him up intelligently. And you'll probably see that over the beginning of the season.
Well, fingers crossed. I appreciate the comps, though. I always like those details because in a situation that's a little bit murkier, we're trying to guess what's going on. So it's good to give some bit of context. And quite frankly, you've always been spot on when it comes to this. That's why the only time I think you messed up was like Mike Devereaux, which didn't have to do with injuries. Right?
I'm never going to live that one down, man.
That was non-injury.
I should have known that.
Yeah, that's on you. That's okay.
It's
okay. That's on you. Hey, guys, the Orioles won.
Unbelievable. I think Zach's heart rate has gone from like 200 down to like
sick.
It's Zach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm shaking. I'm shaking. I almost took myself off the screen because I was trying to type my play the damn song thing and I was about to drop my phone. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I could tell you were like looking around like it was just like a kid in a candy store, just like, where do I go? So
I don't know what Ricky Bobby, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm like shaking.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You
so
see,
that's crazy.
Yoni, this is what happens. Back-to-back times you come on, great things.
Gotta have me more, Rip.
There you go.
You, Buck, look at the dynamic duo here. And speaking of dynamic duo, there is a duo of catchers. And Bali, since there was positive news with this, maybe you can ask Yoni about the dynamic catching duo that the Orioles are still trying to get back.
Yeah, Yoni, obviously the Orioles catching situation went from one of the better in the league to suddenly you're down both of your star catchers. We have wrist inflammation and then some discomfort for Basayo, inflammation for Adley. What kind of time period are you expecting these guys? Is this something they should return after those 10, 15 days? Or is this something they're going to have to keep an eye on?
Okay. First of all, transparently, the Orioles don't give us much to work with. I mean, left wrist inflammation could be freaking anything. It could be a TFCC tear, which is a little piece of cartilage in your wrist, which can be problematic and long-standing. That could take a month. It could be just a simple joints are flared up or a tendinitis. That could be a week to 10 days. It's really hard to know. The good news is, like what I'm taking as a positive is they put him on the 10-day IL retroactively. So I think they think that this is going to be short-lived. I think it's like with no one is healthy at this point in the baseball season. So I think it's going to be another thing, specifically with Adley, that you're going to have to pay attention to. I'm a little bit more worried about Basayo. Again, not a lot of information on Basayo, but the fact that he had lingering shoulder issues, I went back and watched when he had his follow-through swinging as a left-handed batter. On his follow-through, he finishes his swing with two hands on the bat. Here's why that's important, because if he had a one-arm follow-through, that produces a tremendous amount of strain on the labrum, can cause major damage when you swing like that. His follow-through, two-handed, it's a shorter swing. The fact that that still bothered his shoulder, the fact that it was bothering him previously, I think that's going to stick around a little bit longer. If I had to guess, and again, it's a guess, both these guys are going to be on some type of anti-inflammatory that it's going to calm it the hell down. You're going to see both of these guys again this year. I think Adley will most likely be quicker than Basayo, but I don't see long stints for either of them, really.
So with that, Yoni, they are catchers. And they're gonna be beaten up here. Now, the ironic thing is for both of them, this was on swings, right? Adley's saying the wrist with the swing, Basayo, same thing. But even throwing progression for Sammy's been delayed. But you're playing a position that is going to be the most physically taxing. I mean, I think what you're saying, to reiterate, and I've said this before, they are going to be healthy, but they're not 100% healthy. No one is at this point. Is there, with the information with like Sammy, are you worried that that's something that could be a more prolonged issue for the rest of the year compared to Adley's?
I'm worried about Sammy's more because, like I said, it didn't take much to injure it. It wasn't like a massive follow through. He had it previously. And I think it goes underreported. Yes, they're sitting crouching. There is contact at times in that position, but it's a tremendous amount of load on a throwing shoulder. Both back to the pitcher, you're doing that 120 times a game or so, but also trying to get guys stealing, and you're throwing max efforts from behind the plate. I think it's just a high level of load. Remember, like back in the day, we saw, I want to say Weeders went down with Tommy John, right, as a catcher. I think that happened. Yep. So it's like there is an amount of stress that goes under recognized as a catcher on the throwing shoulder. I think it'll take a little bit longer. I think if they can get the inflammation down in the wrist, Adley's going to be able to come back a little bit quicker. That would be my guess.
Well, fingers crossed here, because they need the catches, and I appreciate Trump and Pozo and Sam Huff's got the stuff. They tried to help in this process, but the RBI number 2 and number 3 going into their IL stints were Adley and Sammy on this team. So from a run production standpoint, they need those guys back. So time will tell. I don't really know what to think of Mounty's situation being reassessed. He's close to being back, and we'll save that for as he gets through, Yoni. There's not a ton to really go off of with his. It's here we are, and I'll be honest, I'm really curious what his future is with the Orioles, just because there's only so many spots, and you have a lot of positions that are already taking up those at bats. Rock, I think you had a follow up going back to Beeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yoni, always appreciate you joining the show. But with Justin Matabike, I know with an injury like that, his fully healthy or 100% might be different from most people's healthy or 100% because of the severity of the injury. And initially, people thought this could be a potential career ender for him. It's so nice to see him back on the field and practicing and off the PUP list. I just want to ask you, and I know you don't have a crystal ball, you can't see into the future, but just from what you've seen and you compare it to a Jason Pierre-Paul and a player like that in the past, what will Justin Matabike's 100% look like? Will he be hindered at all when he gets back onto the field and in a game situation? Will we see him return to his, 2023 self when he had a career high 13 sacks? Like, what are Ravens fans going to, what can they kind of expect seeing him back out and healthy on the football field, but to what extent?
Yeah, I think it's impressive. All the football players that I work with, as they lead up towards season, I always talk to them about, like, when was the last time you hit another human the way you're going to hit them on September 4th or something like that? And what's remarkable is they don't until September 4th. They really don't hit guys at the same velocity. So I think we're going to learn a whole bunch more as to how Matabike responds to it. I will say, post-operatively, there is a chance, and a good chance, based upon the way he looked going into a surgery like this, that he comes out all the way on the other end being able to produce the same amount of numbers from 23. I have not seen a neck look like Matabike's, period. And I'm saying that from a muscular standpoint, from how stout he is as a human. That all bodes really well to being able to deal with a surgery like this ACDF. That really sets you up for success. So, as always, Rip, I'm really bullish on this, man. Really positive here. He can potentially produce it. The question will be, for how long? There's wear and tear in this position, and that's true regardless of the surgery. But I do think he has a high likelihood, or a chance at least, to get back to where he was in 23.
That's great to hear. And I see Brad in the comments. I've never been great with names. Muscle memory. I called him Justin. Namdi Matabike. Apologies. Like, Brad's never messed up a name before. Like, he's Mr. Perfect. So just wanted to make sure I get that corrected, because I don't need people coming for me right now. It's apologies there.
We were all
good. You gotta speak with Matabikes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to go with for now on.
And Yoni, as you've gotten to know Rocco, it's very easy to set him off. If you heard Rocco's rant yesterday,
what do you get going on?
He gets going.
I get going.
He gets going here, Yoni. Well, hey, Yoni, you can actually help us with this. We have a new thing starting, and I meant to ask with Buck this question, so you can be the first one on our Wheel Wednesday, where we got this thing here, and we're looking to add events or add challenges that we need to do. Now, in the past, we thought we could just do workouts, which we can, but also what is something that we could add to it that doesn't necessarily have to be a workout related? It could be a challenge. It could be a activity, an objective. Yoni, I mean, what do you think we should add to here that, isn't so crazy, but one of us is going to have to spin the wheel, and one of those options might be yours.
And please, no Bulgarian split squats. We don't. Nobody wants to do those, Yoni.
Nobody wants to do those. Okay, I got two options. Number one, let me ask you a question though. It has to be measurable. We have to see what is Rocco good at doing whatever he lands on?
No,
it's just something to do.
Something to do. Yeah.
Rip wants to see me suffer, so it is what it is.
It could be any of us, Yoni, but it's just that we're looking at other options. Of course, I will probably put Bulgarian split squats back on there because I don't back away from a challenge. Come on, dude. But Rocco hasn't done legs in 84 years.
He legs twice a week. We've been over this.
Yeah. But
okay, I want to see two things. I want to see Rocco. I want to see how long he can stand on one leg with his eyes closed. Because every elite athlete knows that balance is essential, and everyone knows that we rely too heavily on our visual system as it pertains to balance. So if we take Rocco's vision away, how good is he at standing on one leg? That's one. Two, I want to see what Ryan Ripken's right hand handwriting looks like.
I can tell you what his left hand handwriting looks like, and it's freaking terrible. So the right hand handwriting, I don't know. It could be better. We'll see.
Rock, I don't think you're in any position to say anything at any point in time.
Okay, anyway.
So let me see. Okay, this is apparently, first off, I found out that this thing is not to this. It's not coming off.
Okay, you got to wet it first.
Gilman education.
It is not, Ryan. That has been on there for a year. That's not normal dry erase anymore. That is baked in there. You gotta get. I noticed that there was a horrible erase job going on.
So what happens if we don't accomplish this role? Do you just keep going until you can do it for 20 seconds, Yoni? What are we thinking? How long you can do this, or anybody?
I want 30 seconds. I want 30 seconds, one leg, both eyes closed.
30 seconds, one leg, both eyes closed.
Simple.
And I have to do this.
Yes.
It's kind of scary.
Got it. So maybe each one has our own thing. So Rocco, this is yours if it lands on you, and we can have another one that's for me, another one for Zach.
This is crazy. Yeah. I mean, we give him this idea and he takes it and runs with it, and the possibilities are endless here. I told people, everyone's hype about the Orioles right now, but I told people earlier in the show, they want to drop some recommendations in the chat. We'll be definitely happy to add them to the wheel, but I don't even want to know what some people are going to come up with here, so I'm scared.
We will. Well, Yoni, you are the first on the board there. We will put, Joe Thomas said about planks, and I said 2 to 3 minutes for planks, so that or cold plunge? Do we do Joe for cold plunge or?
Ooh, I like it.
I think we had him for he said a 3-minute plank, and because he wanted us to sit in the cold plunge for 5 minutes and go put our head underwater. But he's like, have a medical professional nearby if you do that. So,
Rocco, goodness gracious, this is why, Yoni. This is like what I'd say, handling a locker room and being in that that element. That's not something to worry about. Okay. You'll be fine. Zach, you're fine, right?
Some would say I'm doing fine.
And some would say the O's are fine.
Oh, my
Don't know
God.
about that. Don't know about that. We're going to.
Just kidding. Hey, Yoni, you're the
Flipping
best.
that. Gosh, I can't wait.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey,
Always a
Yoni,
good
for
time.
the way
Yoni.
out, where can
Appreciate
people
it.
find everything that True Sports is doing?
Find us online, truesportspt.com. Find us on Instagram, truesportspt. Shoot us a DM. You want to come in? Awesome. You want to learn from us? Awesome. You're a PT and you want to work in the very best place to rehab and be a PT. We're always looking. Obviously, we're growing like crazy. So hit us up. Would love to talk.
Yoni, I have a question for you, actually.
Uh-oh.
No, don't worry. It's not bad. Yesterday.
This is intern Nate, Yoni.
Hi, Yoni. I'm Nate. Nice
Hey,
to meet
Nate.
you. So yesterday we had a talk on the show about posture, and I bought this specific thing for my back that like helps my posture, and I've been wearing it the entire day. Do you think that's bad for my back to be wearing one of these? Like, I've been wearing it since 9 a.m.
I don't think it's bad for your back. I think you're going to be sore as hell tomorrow.
I was sore today because I wore it all day yesterday.
Of course you were. And I think you should come in for a postural assessment. This is not DIY.
All right, hit me up. I actually
No, you hit him up, Nate. That's not how that works.
You hit him up.
Yeah,
you hit him up.
Sure. Yeah,
Nate?
I'm gonna hit you up. All right, Yoni.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Yoni, hit me up. Yeah,
Love
good.
it.
Yoni, meet intern Nate, meet Yoni. This was great.
Oh my goodness.
Well, now a postural assessment. See, we just added. You can get that at True Sports Physical Therapy. Yoni, you're the man. I appreciate you. Thank you for bringing the good luck to the Birds, both on the football field and on the baseball field. And the Orioles, they win the series against the Detroit Tigers. So appreciate you.
Go O's. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Yoni, everybody.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Yoni.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to come up. I was the only
Oh,
one.
goodness.
That
Nate.
was scary. I'm so sorry, everyone.
It's not that bad. I asked a normal question. All right.
The question was fine. It's just the reaction of, hit me up.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm wired to just say that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Nate doesn't hit up people. Nate's like, I'm wired.
Yeah, they hit me up.
He's
Exactly.
like,
Hey guys,
Nate, did you say that to the governor yesterday? Hit me up. Like, yeah.
I almost did actually. But I did not. I didn't do it. This time I did. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
No, you know what? Maybe he will hit me up.
Who
knows?
No.
What if I get a DM from him?
I don't know, Jim. I don't know about that, Jim. Well, I don't know, Jim, right now with.
Yeah, we know. Continue. Next subject.
Hey, next subject. I know we want to wrap up here shortly, but I do think we should react to this Orioles series here. We'll take a quick decompress. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. And Zach, we appreciate you. And
we appreciate CQ.
And if you have not registered yet for the CQ Maryland Foundation Golf Classic, well, you should. It's one of the premier charity golf events this fall, and it is September 28th at Turf Valley Club, and that's right here in Maryland. We will be there. Yours truly, specifically with Brad, is the returning champion, I should say. But above all, it's for a good cause. It's scholarships that are going throughout the state of Maryland to help give back. And what you have on a day of golf, well, you get 18 holes of golf, and if you don't want to play golf, you get a 2-hour golf lesson. If that's what you would like to do, then there is breakfast, lunch, a cocktail reception for drinks, a Bloody Mary bar, and then so many gifts and raffles, including long range, putting contest, and a whole lot more. So if you are interested in joining the golf event, go to cqmdfoundation.org/golf-classic to register today. And CQ, proud sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show. The Orioles are.
Don't do it, dude. You're just not. Stop. Don't piss people off. They're enjoying the day. Don't do it, please. I can't take your mentions because your mentions are also my mentions. I get your Twitter notifications as well. Please don't do this right now.
The O's are.
Rip.
Back to 4 games under 500.
There we go. That's okay.
And won the series.
Okay.
What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know.
There's 3 games under.
Yeah, I was going to say there's 3 games.
Sorry.
Dumbass.
Good one.
Cut.
Can we talk about how crazy this series was? A squirrel in right field, game 1, a 14-0 loss in game 2. Then you're down 7-0 and you come back and win in extras game 3. Like, if that doesn't sum up the O's in a nutshell this year, just like the ups and downs and riding the roller coaster, I don't know what the hell does. That was just insane. I don't know how else to put this series other than that. I don't.
I'll take it a step further. This series was the backbreaker for the Tigers. And it could have been another of many moments for Orioles fans where you're going to sit there and scream from the mountain that everything with this team and this organization is a problem. And again, I am not saying that things aren't problematic. Zach, they are very problematic. And if you want to see how Zach truly felt, just go back to 3 days ago and watch Kevin and Zach react, because I've never seen Zach so livid. But Bali, the series, here's the reality. And Buck even said, as soon as you think you have it figured out, you either think your shit don't stink or you think this is how it's going to go, the baseball gods go, we got to finish this game. And the baseball gods are not fans of the Tigers. And the Orioles had the craziest win of this season by far.
Yeah, I just tweeted it out, and I'll just reiterate it here.
Shameless plug.
That's Zach Bollinger 18, you know. If this team, and this doesn't just go for the Orioles, this would be any team that's in their position. There have been like 5 or 6 games this year where you look at it and go, man, if you can't turn this into momentum, when can you? This is it. If you can't have Tarek Skubal in his swan song game for the Detroit Tigers up 7-0 in the 7th, and then you come back and win it, I don't know what to tell. Like, this is, it's now or never. Like, there has never been a more, hey, here's all the momentum you need. I'll say this. After the Orioles beat the Chicago Cubs to avoid the sweep, I put something out there and I said the Orioles have 4 of their next 5 series are against 4 teams in the American League in which they are right around within 2 games of in the wild card. I said they had to, at minimum, take 2 of 3 in every game of those. Those 4 series, you had the Royals, you had the Astros, the Red Sox, and the Tigers. If you win 2 of every 3, I said that's what you need to do to say you could buy. You could compete with these teams around you. It would have been an 8-4 record. The Orioles finished those 4 series with a 9-3 record after today's win. I don't know what else to say. They shouldn't have won, but they did. Like, this is one of those games where it's speechless. I don't know how to react because they beat themselves. I mean, Leody Taveras had 2 balls that weren't called errors that definitely are errors, misplayed in center field. So you could say they had 5 errors that led to at least 5 runs. You're not supposed to win those games. You're not supposed to be down 7-0 against Tarek Skubal and win those games. You did it. Now see what you can do. I mean, I'll say this. Tomorrow's off day, I'm sure, feels a whole lot better right now than it would have after a 7-0 loss.
Here's something I want to add, Zach. I think that Orioles fans, joking obviously, should be sending Tigers fans a gift basket, because how many times this season have the O's been on the other side where it's like, okay, you ride the wave, you give up a lead, and then you're at the end of the game, you're just miserable as hell because you're like, that's a game we should have won. Maybe not to the extent of a 7-run blown lead with your ace on the mound, but I don't know. It's like it's just like Tigers fans have to be sick to their stomach right now, and it's got to be frustrating on their end. But, we're not talking about their end. We're talking about this end. And the fact that the O's won that game, I'm just like, holy shit, at the end of the day. That's a great win. They don't ask how, they ask how many. And that's another one in the win column. But obviously it was just painful to watch at times. But the fact that they rallied, came back, won the game after shooting themselves in the foot multiple times, this is a game 9 times out of 10 the O's would lose, and they didn't. So
where'd you hear that? It's not about how, it's about how many.
I don't know. Heard it a few times.
I was gonna say that was really good, and I didn't expect that.
They don't ask how, they ask how many. It's I think it's like a hockey quote or something like that.
Yeah, no, I just
someone in the chat help me out. My dumb ass didn't come up with it on my own. Let that be
it
known.
was like the Patrick Sarver where I was like, write that down. I was like, all right, Rocco. I was like, preach. I'm like, all right, Rock.
It's all right. Listen, I made it up then.
We got some good quotes today. We got some good quotes. That's a great one. Say it again, Rock.
They don't ask how, they ask how many.
I love that. And Nate, what was your quote? Hit me up.
Yeah.
Hit me up. That's a good one. Hit me up.
That's gonna be a Instagram graphic picture.
Should be a t-shirt.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
It should be a t-shirt. It should be a t-shirt.
And you know what? Maybe that's it right there for all the teams. Like the Tigers about Scooble. Hit me up.
Scooble.
He's open.
Scooble. We need him.
I'm going to tell you right now, he's not coming here.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he comes here, I'll jump into harbor.
Please no.
If he comes here, I'll jump into harbor.
Well, no,
If Derek Scooble
You can throw me into the harbor.
gets traded to the Orioles, this is how confident I am that he's not going to get traded to the Orioles. I will streak down the square in Canton. Put that on a t-shirt.
Save that.
Why
Let's
would
clip
we
that.
put that on a
Yeah,
t-shirt?
they were
Right by
going to
Claude's.
until
Right by
Mike
Claude's
Elias.
Cowboy Road, just running by.
Yeah.
What
Michael
are we
Elias
doing?
got a call from the authorities saying he can no longer do that for public safety. That kid.
See you guys at Claude's.
Yeah. Hey, here's another thing for you guys. A little set hut. And this is why I think it's so important, why I will continue to bring up these moments and why I'm going to continue to say why I bring it up, Rock, and why we do it and why we are and how many. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'll be honest. But you know what? It's exactly how I feel about this Orioles team. I don't know where this is going. I don't, but damn, are they in this thing? And we are now less than 5 days, or I guess 5 days-ish. I guess it's 6 p.m. on August 3rd. So everyone to do the math. The Orioles right now are 2 games back of a wild card spot, going into a series with Philly and with the Orioles Hall of Famers that are going in. That is a very exciting moment as well. But also the fact that you're right here. You're here. And also, how about this? Jackson Holliday is the hottest hitter on the team. The dude is hitting over 360 for the month of July. Kobe Mayo had huge at-bats versus righties in the last 2 wins for the Orioles. The first game of the series against Detroit and this finale where you needed a big hit and he got a triple for you. This is what they could be capable of. Now, the thing that's scary is they have to be better before the 7th inning if they're going to have chances. And, Rock, you brought up those moments of when's the last time? The last time was Sunday when they played the Braves and you had a shot, bases juiced, no outs, and you lost that game. You're going to go back to the first game of that Braves series, Monday or Friday night. I'm sorry. You're winning. You have your shots, and you end up losing that game in extra innings. So for the Orioles, it did go your way this time. You can face some very good teams and have success, but damn, that's playing with fire. And that's one thing you're not going to be able to avoid when you play other teams that are going to be fighting in this category. And guys, even after this point, Zach, you mentioned about this journey to get to the trade deadline and the teams the Orioles played, the Royals, the Red Sox, and the Tigers. Oh my, the rest of the way until September is a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Like, let me run through this for you, for all the fans, one more time. The Orioles are going to play the Phillies here. And then they're going to welcome the Angels led by hitting coach Brady Anderson. But after that, they're facing the AL West Rangers on the road. You're facing the Minnesota Twins, who you're battling with on the road. Then you go to Tampa for 4. That's 10 straight road games against teams that you have to compete against. Oh, and then, by the way, you know what you're welcome back to after that stretch? How about you welcome the Yankees and the Rays to then almost close out the month before you go to St. Louis. And by the time you get back to Baltimore, it will be September where you get a little bit of a rest of the schedule where you're facing the A's and the Rockies. So, guys, there is so much left in this season, but damn, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a challenge.
Rip, and you talk about, the Phillies, this big series with the Hall of Fame ceremony on Saturday. The Phillies right now, they can't get out of their own way. They're riding a 3-game losing streak right now. Duran comes in the other night and gives up the game to the Marlins. They're not playing good baseball. If this was the Phillies, heading into the All-Star break, they got really hot. I would almost say the Orioles have and the way the O's were playing before they went on their 7-game win streak, say, okay, like the Orioles, might count them out of that series at that point in time before they got hot as well. Right now, it's like going into this series, I feel like you're catching Philadelphia at the right time. And I could be wrong and I could be crazy, but this seems like the perfect storm heading into that weekend. The crowd is going to be unbelievable. And we know how Camden Yards can get when it's a sellout or near sellout crowd. Like that place can get loud as all hell. So it's hopefully going to be an unbelievable series and one that Orioles fans can leave with regardless and say, okay, like our team is in a really good position right now. Let's do something at the deadline and make a difference heading into the true second half of the season after that deadline hits and really do something and kind of make Orioles magic come alive again.
Yeah. This is why the 162 is unique.
Yeah.
Look around at this league. The Padres, because, friend of the show, the Fighting Gavin Sheets, they got off to a great start. And then they started to struggle, right? And now they're trying to climb their way back in. And they were going, hey, we're right there with the Dodgers to, man, are we going to be in this playoff picture? And then the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They got rolling. Nothing's new there. They had an 11-game lead on the Diamondbacks, and the Padres just got over 500 again. Let's look at some other teams that felt really good maybe earlier on. How about the fact that the opposite way. How about the fact that the Red Sox, this is a team that fired their entire coaching staff after a massive win in Baltimore, and then they continued to spiral. And everyone thought, fire the general manager, clean house, this is it. And now the Red Sox have the tied for the third best record in the American League with only the Yankees and the Red Sox ahead of them. And if you want to take it a step further, the Marlins had the best record in June. 14 games, I believe, over 500, and then went on a 12-game losing streak during this period. And the team that you just mentioned, Rocco, and the Philadelphia Phillies, an atrocious start to the season. Fire their manager, and then they get hot. They get going. There's hope. There's belief. And then they go, we're going to make a run here, and certainly they have. But now they are losers of 8 of 10. They are starting to drop down a little bit. And before, when they were at that top wild card spot, well, now they are holding on to the final wild card spot, only 2 games up on the Padres, the Marlins, and the Pirates. So it's context for how this goes. The Orioles, it feels like this team should be or could be at times 10 or 15 games under 500, but they're not. They are sitting 3 under, which is a hard thing to fathom in a season that we've seen so far. But this is the point of when we talk about a full 162. You just have to get an invitation to the dance. Mm-hmm. I know it's fun to win the division. I know that's the goal each and every year. But damn it, man. This is the one year that you can say there's nobody that you fear in the American League. And if you go back to history to show you, the teams that are most dangerous are the ones that are hottest at the right time. And if you get in and you make noise, then you can make history. And that's something that Baltimore, as well as so many other teams, are trying to do. Baseball's fun. It's stressful. It's frustrating. I know this fan base, the love, the passion, the anger all comes from a spot that you want to see a winner. The Orioles haven't done enough winning, not just this year, but over 43 years since they last hoisted that championship here in Baltimore. But damn it, here we are. Before deadline.
Yeah.
We're going to have the big deadline show here on that Monday. But if you're an Oriole fan, there's still hope after what has been one of the most unprecedented seasons so far that I can remember.
Chris Davis summed it up perfectly yesterday, Rip, when he was talking about Baltimore fans and what they mean. And he said, they'll get on you sometimes, but if you're theirs, along the lines of they'll ride for you because you're theirs. And the passion is unmatched and the anger is unmatched. It's something special when this team is winning games. And the reason why this fan base is so passionate, because they expect the best from this team. This isn't a Orioles baseball, like being able to live in Baltimore for 4 years and to be around it. I mean, you've been around it your whole life, and same with Zach. It was just like a different feeling, how the fans talk about their team, how they expect to win every single game, how one loss in a 62 game season, can't get my words out right now, is the end of the world. Like I love that about baseball. And I feel like you don't really get that passion in a lot of other sports. Football, if you lose one game 1 week, okay, on to the next one. If it's a bad one, you might get a different reaction. But every game in a 162 game season to this fan base, it matters. And you can see the passion. And just talking about the Orioles, and you talk about getting hot at the right time. Talk about a guy like Jackson Holliday getting hot at the right time. And we talked about him, and Buck talked about him when we had him on the show earlier. I don't want to see Jackson Holliday out of the lineup going forward unless he goes to Craig Albernaz and says, hey, I'm tired, I need a day. And I don't think Jackson Holliday is going to do that. Or until he starts, if there's a point in time where he goes like over the next like week or two. He should be in the lineup every day. He has been your hottest hitter, not only on the team, but one of the hottest hitters in baseball. There's no reason why Jackson Holliday should be out of the lineup going forward unless there's an issue or unless he really falls off. He's been spectacular.
Certainly has. And to close us down, Zach, final words on your thought, because I know you got to react to some things with Kevin and Zach. React. You're smiling.
Like I keep saying, if not now, when? I mean, you just had yesterday was the biggest shutout the Orioles have ever had thrown against them since 2004. Today was the biggest comeback the Orioles have had since 2009. You want to talk about baseball, you want to talk about a sport. It's funny when I talk to my girlfriend Molly about, she goes, sometimes I don't understand baseball because sometimes it feels like little things matter and other times they don't at all. And I said, yeah. I was like, sometimes you make a mistake and it costs you a game. Sometimes you gift wrap 5 runs to the other team, go down 7-0, and you come back and win. Baseball is a special breed of a sport. 162 is 162 for a reason. At the end of the day, it supposedly evens out. Don't know if players think that. Don't know if fans think that. But they just find a way. Go 1-0 each day. Getting outscored 21-0 over the span of 2 games, and you split those 2 games 1-1. I don't.
You know what we call that, Zach?
Cinema.
Nate?
Cinema.
You got to have the hands, Nate. Cinema. We're working on it, but
this is where we lose our audience.
God.
Goodbye. It was a good run.
It was a good run, and the Orioles, they're still in it. And
my God, man, what have I done?
Woo!
I created this monster, Zach. By the way,
I know you did. Trust
and
me.
I regret every minute of it.
You don't have to tell me who to blame. I know.
Terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, then, shameless plug. If you after we get off here, if you want to keep talking about the Orioles, head on over to Kevin and Zach React, where we're going to keep talking about this game. Oh, I'm going to try to. I'm still kind of speechless, but I'm going to try to put all the emotions into words. So go catch us over there.
A glass case of emotion.
Rocco, after the win, my body almost just threw up just because of the adrenaline dump it had. Like, I was like, wow.
I feel like if we had like a picture-in-picture Zach cam throughout Orioles games, especially in those crazy moments, it would just be unbelievable.
You would not.
Some would call it cinema. Should we get on out of here?
This fucking
Hit the
guy,
music,
man.
Nate.
What?
I didn't mean to
was
click,
that?
so I
That
didn't.
was awesome. I
went
loved
to
it.
move my hand and it went on it.
That's a good way to sum up the show, the game. Have a day, have a night. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. The O's victorious in Detroit. Kevin and Zach React will be on next. Come back and join us tomorrow. It's the Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook.
Just a